A group of academics is working to prevent mass extinctions around the world, but it's not plants or animals at risk. They're trying to save dying languages.
It's estimated that somewhere between 50 to 90% of the world's languages could disappear by the end of this century. And the race is on to record them before they're lost forever, with the help of nothing more than a smartphone. Thom Cookes reports.
The mountains and forest in the Papua New Guinea highlands are so rugged that they've kept people isolated from each other for sometimes hundreds of years. For a long time, many of the smaller clans and villages here thought that they were the only people on Earth. One of the results has been a startling range of different languages. Of the 7,000 languages in the world, nearly 1,000 are spoken in New Guinea alone. But like many Indigenous languages, they're rapidly dying out.
What's lost is the knowledge that's been passed down over generations about how to live sustainably in a place, knowledge about the forest, the animals, the seasons. But they also have a unique perspective on the world, so they've named all of the items in their environment, and the names that they give to things tell us something about how they carve up the world in their mind.
These people are from New Guinea's eastern highlands and speak Usarufa. There's thought to be just 1,000 people left with a good knowledge of the language. And they face a problem that's common with many similar remote communities.
The good speaker of the Usarufa language is the older people in the village. And we don't have many older people now existing. They are dying away. We are afraid that if all the older people die out, then there will be no good speakers.
Dr. Stephen Bird has been working in a number of remote communities around the world, helping to preserve dying languages.
The end result of our project is to collect as many endangered languages as possible in the form of a digital audio Rosetta Stone. So it's recordings and translations into major world languages for as many source languages as possible.
Like most of his colleagues, Professor Bird has been using digital recorders and video cameras in the field. But several years ago, he and a couple of his students hit on the bright idea of using cheap smartphones instead.
Smartphone is a networked recording device. It's got a built-in microphone, it's got storage, and when they are in range, it can transfer the recordings somewhere else. The phone can record the person's location, they are signed in so we know who they are, and we can capture all sorts of information about them and tag it onto the media so that we never lose track of the recording's metadata.
The group has developed special software for the phones that can be used by people who can't read.
So we take in about 6 to 10 phones along with a wireless router, and in several places of the world, in PNG and Brazil, we've created the first network in a village.
Lauren Warren is a linguist from Melbourne University and has just come back from testing the mobile phones in Nepal.
For me, one of the most satisfying things is that I got to step away a little bit from the documentation process, and I found that especially across the time that we were using it more and more, speakers would be more likely to kind of take the phones and go off and they'd go for a stroll and come back with a recording that they'd made or a story they'd remembered that morning that they wanted to record. And that, for me, was really exciting to watch people want to drive that project themselves.
Sangbu and Sabina are talking in Kagate, a Tibetan language with about 1,500 active speakers.
पहिला स्टोरी देखाउने मान्छे थिएन अहिले खुसी लागेको छ
मलाई पनि धेरै खुसी लागेको छ पहिला यस्तो केही पनि थिएन पहिला आउनेहरूले यस्तो रिकर्डिङहरु केही पनि गरेन अनि अहिले तपाईले रिकर्डिङ भिडियो अब हाम्रो भाषाको सबै उसो गर्दा राम्रो लागेछ.
I really got excited about the prospect of giving people a voice. There's so many isolated and disenfranchised people whose voices are being lost. And here is a way using new technology combined with cutting-edge research to really help others.